And this is a pretty bright shade. Hello everyone, it's Nicole here at Pixel Maven's Retreat. Thanks for joining me for another Crafter's Toolbox. We're going to continue on our journey looking at these fun Halloween SVG cut files that I created and all of the awesome Distress Oxide backgrounds. Today's we're going to be doing the creepy tree with the pumpkin and the fun moon background. So this is got just a few little extra steps to it that help make this really precise circle, but it's pretty simple. If you've got a die cut machine and some circle dies, it's pretty easy to do. So I started off by just taking one of my infinity dies here from Hero Arts. I love that they've got all of these different sizes. And I just made sure that I had one that I really liked the size of. So it's easy to just put that in and to take your cut file and see how that's going to look together. And I thought that looked pretty good. So I went ahead and I used some masking paper. This is the Gina K Thermoweb Masking Magic paper. To make a circle from that. And the reason why I use this instead of cardstock or anything else is because this is super thin and it's also self-adhesive. So just had to grab this and put it on my piece of cardstock when I'm ready for it. So I'm going to start by doing the moon first, and then I'm going to cover it up with my masking paper. So starting off with wild honey. And I just need to get a really big circle in the middle here. And I'm going to be pretty generous with my inking. And just a big, big, big blob for the moon, right? And this is a pretty bright shade, so it lays down pretty easily. And then I just need to make sure that my masking paper is going to fit that, and it is, so that's good enough for now. I will probably come back to this wild honey when we do a little blend at the end, but for now that's perfect. So this sometimes needs just a minute or two to dry, but it should be okay enough for us to proceed ahead. So just grab my masking paper, and you see how super thin that is? And I just make sure that I have it evenly spaced on the left and right. And that's pretty good. And then just give it a good rub in so that way it's stuck down, especially because there's fresh ink underneath it. So that in place, I can go ahead and do the background. So we'll skip the spice marmalade for now. We'll come back to that when we go take this off. I'm going to do just a little bit of mowed lawn, not a whole lot. And actually, I probably already have enough on my blender here to get what I need around the edges here. Actually, not quite. So I just want to get a little layer around the edge here, just to really give this kind of that sickly, scary green haze that you see in horror movies and things like that around the moon. Okay, so most of this is going to get covered up with the peeled paint, but I think this gives the green a little extra dimension and depth. So we've got that in place, and now I can just move on to my peeled paint. And it's going to be a little back and forth with the peeled paint and the black soot. So I just need to grab some peeled paint and go right into basically blending it right into that green. And you can see how where the mowed lawn is and the peeled paint, there's a little difference of green, and I really like the way that looks. It really does help bring that in a more, it gives it more depth, it really does. Okay, so basically I've covered the whole piece now with the peeled paint, except for a couple little corners. But like I said, we're going to come back and forth between that and the black soot. So now I'm just going to pull in from the edges here and start getting lots and lots and lots of black soot on here. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. So I basically want this layer to kind of dry so that way I can get another layer of black over it. All right, so I have this funky green black thing going on right now. It's awesome. But see up here, I can start adding in more, and it does come in darker. So I'm going to get that extra dark around the edges. All right, that's pretty good. So that's it for just a second here while I switch to my peeled paint. Now, instead of doing small circles around, I'm going to start doing like that swipe motion. So that way I'm getting a blend and it's coming all the way around. You see how that blends? And it helps to bring up the green from underneath. And now the green on top. And you do see a little bit of that mowed lawn even. All right. So this is the very coolest thing, because now that this is basically done, and like how fast does this one come together? That's pretty amazing, right? So now that I've got that done, I can go ahead and gently find an edge here and expose that awesome bright full moon. And now I'm just going to go ahead and take some spice marmalade. I don't even think I need to go back into the wild honey. Whoop. And I just want to give this some depth too. So this looks kind of flat right now, but if I go in very gently with some swirls like that, you start to see the marmalade in some places and not others. And that's what helps give this a lot of depth. And now I'll even go around the edge here and bring in some of that extra glow. And that's really going to make this whole moon look like it is glowing in the night. Pretty cool, right? So this one comes together super quickly with a little help from some masking paper and just some big broad swaths of color. So again, just test it with our sample overlay, and now we know that this card is totally ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this Halloween blend and that you joined me for the last few that I have coming up this week. Thank you so much for supporting me in this adventure with some new SVG files. Don't forget to stop by my blog and grab yourself a copy. I will be back later this week with more videos, but until next time, happy crafting.